First, I want to compliment you for the effort you're putting in researching Jewish issues. In answer to your question as to whether the Noahide law concept is a later idea, the answer is no. I recently updated several clips on this issue 3 about how the Bible necessitates a concept like the laws of Noah. Although it's true that the details of the laws of Noah are only preserved in the Talmud, this doesn't mean that the Talmud is the origin of these details. You should keep in mind that the only record of how to make tefillin, phylacteries, is also the Talmud, although the New Testament in Matthew 23 indicates with a careful reading that tefillin existed from beforehand, and even that it's even indicated that Jesus motivated or was positive about its observance, as indicated in the latter part of Matthew chapter 23, though he was against a hypocritical show of tefillin. If you look on my website, also on the clips that I gave, if you listen to it well, I there explain how it's clear from the Torah, the law of Moses, that there are distinct obligations incumbent upon the people of Israel, in contrast to the obligations of the non-Israelite nations. With regard to who is a Jew, whether it's through the mother or the father, without getting into the entire issue, to put it simply, it's clear that the tribal obligations, that the distinctions between the tribes of Israel, is inherited through the father. But this is only an issue. This only matters if the mother is an Israelite woman. You can find indicated in the book of Ezra that regardless of the tribe, if the mother is not an Israelite, then the children are not Israelite. This you can find implied in Ezra chapter 1 verse 2, where it begins, verse 2 and 3, where it has the decree of Koresh, Cyrus, for where it says in verse 3, whoever there is among you of all his people, alright, he's saying that they can go back to Jerusalem. So it's talking about his people, clearly Israel. And then you find in Numbers chapter 2, verse 58, it says, all the Nethinim and the children of Solomon's servants, they were 392. Verse 59, and these were they that went up from Tel Melah, Tel Harsa, Kruv, Imer, I'm sorry, I'll just read it in Hebrew. These are they that went up from Tel Harsho, Kruv, Adon, Imer, ולא יוכלו להגיד בית אבותם וזרעם מישראל. So it says that those who went up from these places, and clearly from the chapter 1, verse 3, these are his people, the Almighty's people. But those who came up from these particular places, they could not tell, did not know who their father's houses were. Here house refers to clan within a tribe, and or their father's seed, alright, whether they were of Israel, whether their fathers were of Israel, their father's seed was from Israel. So clearly, even though they're a part of the people of Israel, as indicated in verse 3, yet they had doubt as to whether their father's roots were of Israel. Hence, their only connection, if their fathers were not of Israel, this isn't affecting the fact of their maternal side, whether their mother was from Israel. So the only undoubting connection they have to the people of Israel is through their mother. This is even more clear in chapter 9 and chapter 10. In chapter 9, I'll just read for you. כי נוסעו מבנותיהם להם ולבניהם והתערבו זרע הקודש בעמהו הרוסף ויד הסורים והסרונים היתום במעל הזה ראשונו. Alright, it says that this is from the New American Standard Version. For they have taken of their daughters for themselves and for their sons, so that the holy seed have mingled themselves with the peoples of the lands. Yea, the hand of the princes and the rulers hath been first in this faithlessness. Verse 12 goes on, and it says, Now therefore give not your daughters unto their sons, neither take their daughters unto your sons, nor seek their peace or their prosperity forever, that you may be strong, and eat the good of the land, and leave it for an inheritance to your children forever. Now here in verse 12, you see a prohibition given both for the Israelite daughters to marry their sons, and also that the Israelite men should not take their daughters. So that's a prohibition going both ways. Yet we see a distinction regarding the children, the offspring of such unions. Let's say after the fact they had children. When it comes to that matter, you see a clear distinction. So though in verse 12 there's an equal prohibition, whether it's the male or the female marrying the non-Jew, there's a distinction in how we relate to the children. It says in chapter 10, verse 3, it begins, And Shechanyo, the son of Yehiel, one of the sons of Edom, answered and said unto Azar, We have broken faith with Eloheinu, and have married foreign women of the peoples of the land. Yet now there is hope for Israel concerning this thing. It's going to continue in this chapter. The point is going to be the entire time on the non-Israelite women, not on the non-Israelite men, and on their children. Verse 3, وَعَتُوا نِخْرُفْ بَرِيث لَلُهِنُ لَهُصِّي خُلَّ نُوشِيم وَهَنُّلُوض مِهِمْ, and those born to them. بَعَصَثْ أَدُنُوي وَهَحَرَّذَمْ بِمِسْوَثْ أَلُهِنُ وَخَتُرُوا يَعُصَى. And therefore let us make a covenant with Eloheinu to put away all the wives, and such as are born of them, according to the counsel of the Lord, and of those that tremble at the commandment of Eloheinu, and let it be done according to the Torah, according to the law, a reference obviously to the law of Moses. Verse 7 goes on, and verse 7 through 18 indicates a penalty, that those who wouldn't separate, that all of their substance is to be forfeited, and he must separate from the congregation of the Israelites in the captivity. But the point is, verse 3 is only talking about how they must put away even those born to these women. We don't see it saying that they must put away the children of Israelite women who had children with non-Israelite men. It's only the children of Israelite men who had descendants with the non-Israelite women. Now, if these children born of an Israelite man and a non-Israelite woman were Israelites, then sending them away is like forcing them. It's completely illogical if these children were Israelites, because then the people of Israel would have an obligation upon them to make sure that these children uphold the Torah, and there's no way they could be upholding the Torah outside of the people of Israel.